This is Dave, and today's Big Hairy Idea is the importance of being a work in progress. So we had a great night last night. We went out, myself, Hannah, our son, our two nephews, to see a mentalist. A mentalist is somebody who does magic of the mind, says he can read minds, says he can project things into your mind and make you do things. It's a certain type of magic show, and we had a great time. And part of what we loved about it was the fact that it wasn't perfect. So why did we enjoy that? Because the magician, the mentalist, was a guy named Nevo Abitbol, and who has the distinction of being the country's, Israel's, and perhaps the entire world's youngest mentalist. So when we're seeing him out here, first of all, he's an Israeli. English is not his native language, and he's going out there and he's really doing his best, and you can see he's doing a great job up there on stage trying to communicate, but he's not saying everything exactly right, and he's doing his tricks, and a lot of them are fantastic, but some of them aren't totally original. They're things we've seen before, and one of them didn't quite work, though. He had the presence to call it off midway before we actually kind of, he had to show the result not working. He kind of knew it wasn't going to work, and then it's like kind of said, okay, we're not finishing this trick, and just moved on to the next one. But part of what we really enjoyed was the fact that it was still a work in progress, that we knew we were going to see a show, not of a headliner, not of one of the world's top magicians. We're going to see a show of a kid exactly the age of my son Ari Lev, and who was really trying to get his act together. He had some success as a magician. For a 14-year-old magician, he was fabulous, and he knows that he wants to go from being an Israeli magician to being on the world stage, and so he wants to go and perform in front of English speakers. And we went and booked a room to perform. It was a small room for a magic act, and the tickets were dirt cheap. And part of the fun was saying that we are seeing a kid who is not yet perfect. He's not yet this huge act. We're really seeing a work in progress. We actually left the feeling like one day this guy's going to be on giant stages, and he's going to be doing amazing shows, and you're going to be paying a fortune to go see him. And we're going to be like, I remember this kid back when. I remember him when he was really just making the leap from local star to international star, from only Hebrew speaker to performing in Hebrew and in English. And we were one of those, probably the first handful of English speaking shows that he's doing. And so there's something really fun about seeing somebody who wasn't completely polished, didn't have everything down, but is really learning and perfecting his craft, as somebody that is just going to be at a much higher level next year than he was this year, and a higher level the year after that, and sooner or later is going to be somebody really big. And it made me think back to this series of videos as well, because I go back, as I've said before, go back even just a couple months and I see, wow, these videos were just not nearly as good as the ones I'm making now. And I know that there are so many distinctions I'm picking up all the time about how to make videos, and I know in a couple months they'll be so much better than they are now. And sometimes we think we need to be good in order to start. In fact, I was recently communicating with a guy who posted to one of the groups that I'm in, and he was terrified of being on camera. But he had a course that he wanted to give, and he was trying to say, how do I get in front of the camera to do this big course that I know can make a lot of money and be good? He was asking me, how do I go from being lousy to the first time I get on camera being amazing? Because I'm so afraid of the camera that I never want to get on there until I'm ready to film my big course. And I was saying, it's not how that works, man. You gotta recognize yourself as a work in progress and get out there and just start recording it. Even if it's just a message to your mom that you just record and nobody else sees it. Just get out there and start recording and start getting your comfort up. And so it's really great seeing this kid as a work in progress, as somebody who is trying to get it right and someday will have it to that point. And so I want to really emphasize that point to you and ask you, is there any way that you are a work in progress? Sometimes we're just so afraid to put ourselves out when we're not perfect. We're not amazing. But I, as an audience member, loved seeing this kid not be perfect last night. I enjoyed watching him struggle. Not that I was laughing at his struggling, but I was enjoying watching him step up there and say, okay, I'm now going to perform in a language that is not my most comfortable language, not my native language. And I'm going to do it in front of a small room for cheap ticket prices because you guys are going to help me get better. And I know that I want to be better. So I'm going to work my butt off and go from performance to performance to performance so that I can go and get better at this craft, so that I can be more. And that's what I enjoyed about watching this kid who was so clearly a work in progress. And the truth is, it's easier to see with some 14-year-old over there that, wow, yeah, he's obviously a work in progress. He's going to get bigger, he's going to get faster, he's going to get smarter, he's going to get smoother. He's 14, and we know that of all 14-year-olds. But really, it's true of all of us too. We're also all works in progress. And if we just keep that in mind and keep saying, I'm not out here to be perfect. I'm out here to get better and to improve. We're going to improve at a speed that's going to boggle our minds.